Hi guys, it's Sterling Spectre here. Welcome back to the channel. Today we have kind of a different video. Today is going to be a tier list for all these different coins, basically, all these proof of work coins. It's not strictly proof of work because we have some that are kind of proof of space and, proof of area. But for the most part, it's proof of work coins, and we're just going to be ranking them on a tier list. Basically going over what they're good at and what they're bad at, and just seeing how they all rank in the rankings. So first we want to start off with Conflux. This is a small coin, but the profitability is really good on Conflux. Right now, if we click on what to mine, we can see that with a 3090, with a cost of around 10 cents per kilowatt hour, we have Ethereum and then Conflux under it. And this has been the narrative or the results for the past, probably I want to say like a month or two. We've just seen this Conflux at the top of the what to mine list up there with Ethereum. So personally, I think that the profitability right now is good. I'm not going to be just judging on profitability. I'm also going to be judging on, other things, if the coin has use cases and what the future looks like for the coin and the coin price. Personally, I think that Conflux right now is probably sitting at a B tier because the use cases are there, but there's a lot of other coins that are bigger that still have the same use cases. But the profitability is good, so I'm going to go with the B tier. I think in the future we could see a price change in the coin, but right now it's kind of like a steady price and hasn't really been affected by this dip as much as the other coins. I think it went down around 10% or maybe 13%, something like that. So right now it's at a good price and the profitability is really good. The next coin that we have is the Aion Coin, or Aion, I guess. I don't really know how you pronounce it. So far this is a different proof of consensus, so it's worked. It's not a proof of work or proof of stake, it's a different one. Currently has use cases that are innovative in terms of the consensus, and it's a different way to mine without, using the standard proof of work model. If we go into what to mine, this is just with the 3090. Remember that other coins have different profitabilities, but if we scroll probably all the way down, we'll see Aion Coins right here. It's making around 29 cents per day, so not really much. So I might have to bump that down to a C tier, but the use cases are good for the coin. It's just I don't really see it going anywhere. It's been on the market for a while now, and it hasn't really made much progression in the space in terms of it exploding onto the space like other coins do, but we'll get into those other coins later. I'm mainly talking about Flux or Kadena or something like that. But right now it's not really making the profitability. I can't see the profitability going up either, so I'm just going to put it in C tier at the moment. Now this next one here you can't see, but it's Ergo. Right now I want to put Ergo at probably the top of the B tier, so it's got to go like there. If we just move this here, if we look here, Ergo is not really making that much profitability, but the use cases, the NFTs that they have going on, use cases are great for Ergo. The autoculos is also a great hashing algorithm for older model cards like the 1080s or the 1080 Ti's, those really powerful older model cards. And some of the 20 series cards are great on Ergo as well. Currently they actually have a big following on Reddit in terms of, the activity on the actual Reddit page is very big for a coin this size. That's what I've found by following the Reddit. It's kind of updated regularly. They have posts on it, and they also have their own miners section. So they have an Ergonauts Reddit, which is just for kind of general Ergo talk, and they have an Ergo miners Reddit, which is for obviously miners of Ergo. I think that Reddit has around 40,000, the Ergonauts, and the miners one has around 6,000. So right now, the coin's in its early stages, and they just had that new update to the Ergo EIP 27, which basically brings the block reward down to 3 Ergo per block at the end, so that miners aren't left unrewarded in the 8-year plan that they had. So now that plan is now extended up to, I think, 17 years to allow developers to build stuff on the Ergo network. So, it's got this 17-year road plan basically planned out, and they want people to build on the network, and this new EIP27 has been great with over 90% of the miners voting on for this. So I'm just going to put it at B tier because I can see it going further. The price of the coin's kind of in the low right now, but all of these prices are going to be low. But right now, there are still coins that fill those use cases that Ergo has. Next one we have Zano, and this is another one that I kind of have been looking at, but really haven't gotten into. If we go on what to mine, it's kind of up there. It works on the ProgPow-Z algorithm, so basically ProgPow, but for their own kind of thing. It's kind of like the CarPow one for Ravencoin. It's their own niche version of the ProgPow algorithm. So the profitability is good right now on these 3090s. I think that the 3060 runs really well on this, and the 2080 runs really well on this algorithm or on this coin. But right now it's 60 cents, when compared to Ethereum, $1.20. So, you can't really put it way high up there. Also, the use cases aren't really there for it. There's a lot of coins out there that will fill these use cases. So the next coin we have is Bitcoin Gold. There's, multiple different variations of Bitcoin that are just for like cash uses. Like we've got Bitcoin Cash down here. So we can obviously put them, we're going to do them at the same time. So Bitcoin Gold and Bitcoin Cash are kind of like the same thing, if you ask in my opinion. It's just one of them is obviously run off ASICs and the other one is run off GPUs. It's sitting at around 56 cents in profitability from a 3090, but it doesn't really fill many use cases. It's kind of just a piggyback off Bitcoin, just to make it into a cash version. So I'm just going to put it at C tier. Bitcoin Cash, I'm going to say, is up here, just at the bottom end of it though, because of the fact that, it came before it, and it's got good profitability for ASIC miners when you look at it overall. And the use cases, people have started adopting Bitcoin Cash in and marketing it in with the actual Bitcoin coin as well. So the next one we have is Ethos or Etho protocol. I'm just going to put this at C tier, not at the bottom end. I'll put it at the top end, just because it does cater towards these AMD rigs in GPU mining. But Ethos, is up here at 32 cents. And it kind of caters to these AMD rigs. The same with Firo Coin. Obviously, we're going to get onto that in a minute. Don't really know about the use cases for Etho. Haven't really done much research into it, but I don't really mine it, so that's why I'm putting it at C tier. If you have any different opinions, just leave them in the comments. Next up, we have Sia Coin. Same thing. I don't really have any research on this, and I've looked on the subreddit. The use cases are kind of there, but not really. They've kind of been on the scene for a while, but they have a big market cap in terms of proof of work coins. They're kind of at the top 25, I think, something like that. Whereas all of these other ones, apart from Bitcoin Gold and Bitcoin Cash, are kind of in the bottom, probably 100 on the mining pool stats, which is obviously ranked firstly by market cap. Right, so next up we have Raptorium. Obviously we're not going to see this on what to mine because it's mainly a CPU mineable coin. So obviously it's wrapped in with proof of work. I'm going to put it at B tier, above Conflux but below Ergo, just because we've seen a lot of profits come from this coin way back around, I want to say it was around a year ago, maybe more than that. Raptorium had a massive price boost that made CPU mineable coins very profitable. And this happened for other coins like Monero, but Raptorium was the main coin to mine at that time. But it still brings in profits if you're CPU mining, it's just not as much profits as before. That's why I'm putting it at B tier. Now Beamcoin is one of the coins that I have actually made a video on how to mine. I'm going to put it above Bitcoin Cash, just because I see that the protocol is very good for it. It's just that the adoption is very early right now. If we go on the what to mine list, it is probably all the way down. Yeah, well, it's actually better than most of these other ones like Flux and stuff for the 3090, just because it caters probably to newer cards. We're having a 48 cents profit on this coin. So profits are kind of alright right now, but the coin still has room to grow, so I don't really know where to put it at this point If it was bigger, I'd kind of guess where to put it, but right now I'm just going to put it in B tier. Vertcoin, I'm just going to put this in D tier. First off, I know if we look at the what to mine list, it's all the way down here. The profitability is bad. It's been around for ages, and you know, this is like one of the coins that people used to mine quite a while ago. Obviously people are still mining it if they have really efficient rigs or really efficient cards on it, but personally I don't think it's a good coin. It's had too much time in the space for it to actually, if it hasn't grown after a certain period of time, there must not be enough uses for it for you know, mainstream miners or even sellers to pick it up and use the network. So next up we have Firo. I think I'm going to put this in the B tier, but at the end of the B tier, just because I like the fact that it's catered to AMD GPUs. As we've seen earlier, if we scroll up, we get off the 3090 and go into the RX 6900, and we can see here that basically the top coins are up there, which is Ravencoin, Ethereum, and Firo. So because Firo caters to this AMD GPUs, in the fact that even if you're buying AMD or Nvidia, whichever one you want, obviously you want Nvidia because they're more powerful, but if you do have AMD GPUs lying around, or you bought more in the bear market, then you know, you would have been good with a coin that still produces profitability for those GPUs. And I think Firo has kind of filled that void for this kind of AMD versus Nvidia GPU war, where it doesn't really matter which one you choose, Ethereum or Firo is still going to be profitable. Next up we have Aion Coin. I'm going to put this at B tier, but up under Ergo. It's a new coin. It's got basically no fees on the network. The kind of infrastructure that they have around it is built really well. Even the wallets on the phone, you can kind of have your own name for your wallet, as in like you have your own domain name. I guess it is like, you know, when you have your own domain with Ethereum, it's kind of the same thing, but and you can sell these domain names on to other people easily on their infrastructure that they've built on top of that. We can see down here that I think it's all the way down at the bottom, or maybe it might be here. It's at 43 on profit per day, so it's alright, but it's not really great. But it still works, and it's great that there's no fees on it. Just kind of needs the adoption of bigger exchanges for it to really get out there, because it's not really on anything at the moment, so there's no real way to sell it. It just needs to get out there and start having use cases that are coming through, but I believe it will have that in the future. Now next up we have Sero. I'm going to put this at A tier. It's just a personal, all this is personal kind of choice, and Sero right now is great. If we go back to the 3090, obviously we can see that Sero is at this is at 69 cents, but the way that I really like to use Sero is to use it on older cards. Let's have this 1080 Ti by here. We'll just do one, we'll do it at that, and Sero's still up there with 21 cents. Obviously on these older cards it's hard to make profitability because they're so inefficient. Obviously the power consumption is also higher because it's on the prog power algorithm, but I can deal with that on the older cards, you know. I don't really want to ruin the newer cards, but I can kind of justify ruining the cores, well not ruining, but pushing the cores a bit higher on the older cards because they're more likely to break anyway when in comparison to these newer 30 cards. But I like the platform that they have. That Sero wallet that they have allows you to actually stake into nodes. Basically you guess which node is going to get the next block. It's kind of like how Flux do it, but you're betting on nodes instead of actually putting your own Sero into a node to make it. So it's kind of different, but I kind of like that way where you can bet on it and you can, you know, obviously get more Sero Coin out of your Sero Coin that you've already mined. Now next up we have Flux. Obviously I'm going to put this at S tier. It's had a breakout for the last year or so. If we go back to the 3090, we can see where Flux is right now. It's always been good at profitability, and at one point was just way better than Ethereum to mine, and it kind of held that spot from Ethereum to Flux that was kind of fluctuating, no pun intended there. It was kind of fluctuating between Ethereum and Flux, which one was the highest coin to mine or the most profitable. At right now we're at 43 cents, but obviously this is just because, you know, the price has gone way down. But their introduction of parallel assets also makes it way better to mine. Next up we have Chia Coin. I'm just going to put this at B tier above Ergo, just because of the proof of area or proof of storage that they have. You know, it offers miners a different way to gain profits from other means, basically. Obviously this was big about a year ago when the price of the coin was way up there at like $1,000 a coin or something like that. It shot all the way down to $60 a coin, but the efficiency of running hard drives to coin profitability is very good. So if you have a massive load of storage just lying around, you can use that to free up space and mine Chia Coin. Obviously it's not going to show on the what to mine list because it's a proof of storage coin, but right now I believe the profits aren't very good. It's still a different way for miners to actually earn out of the, you know, the traditional proof of work CPU mining. Next up we have Ravencoin. I'm going to put this in A tier as well because it has offered a lot of profits and still is offering a lot of profits right now on the 30 series cards and even on the AMD 6000 cards. So Ravencoin is bringing in $1.02, and I think if they didn't have the halving, it would be making way more right now. It didn't really suffer that much from this crypto crash as much as other coins like Flux, or even like stuff like Beam or a lot of these coins just flopped, but Ravencoin's been there, the profitability's there if you want to mine it. Obviously it did have the halving, which kind of shot the price down, but it's kind of recovered now and it's kind of becoming that top 5, top 10 coin that could be mined. That's why I'm putting in at A tier. It has offered a lot of things as well. NFTs, the use cases around it are great, but you need to see this kind of more further adoption from it. I'm only having Sero up there in A because it's a personal opinion that I like Sero Coin. So if you have different opinions, as I said, put them in the comments below. Now next up we have Kadena. I've got to put this at S tier above Flux. The combination of Flux and Kadena, this kind of duality between them with the CADEX exchange as well, could be a replacement for Bitcoin if it needs to be. They also have a great programming language that they've built on top of it called Pact, which makes it way easier to program stuff. Even like you can get into it and you can learn it pretty quickly. Also stuff that lead to hacks in the Ethereum kind of space or any other hacks or the Solana space would not be possible to code on this Pact coding language. So that's why it's way better to use Kadena, because it can't be hacked in a general way that Ethereum and Solana had been hacked in the past. So this duality of Flux and Kadena is great. Even using the Zilliqa wallet and the Kadena mining is great. Also, the price on Kadena and Flux right now is really low, but they are still profitable to mine. Kadena, I believe, is only run on ASICs, so you can't mine it on a GPU, but the Kadena miner prices are going down as well for these ASICs. I think there is a gold shell version of the KD miner, and then there's a fastminers.io. That's the website that I've been looking at to buy my Kadena miners from. We could see a price increase. I think Kadena and Flux is kind of the two future coins. In the next 5 years we'll see their price explode. Right now Flux is around 50 cents per coin, and Kadena I think is around $1.50 per coin. But right now is the best time to get into these coins, even if you're not mining them, just to even buy them, just because in the future you'll see that this whole ecosystem of Kadena and Flux kind of merging together, and it has built so much stuff on top of it by the time that we get to that price point that you won't even know that it was at $1 a coin or 50 cents a coin. So I'm just warning you for the future. If you really want to get into something, look into Kadena, look into Flux. Next up we have Zilliqa. I think it's Zilliqa or something like that. I'm going to put it at B tier above Chia. Kind of has a Zil ETH hashing pool where it's kind of like you get both of the coins. That's why I'm putting it up there, because it's very integrated into these things, and it also produces good profits. So the duality of this Zilliqa plus the Ethereum mining is good. It was particularly used for LHR cards where you couldn't get the full percentage, so you'd mine Ethereum and then you'd mine Zil on top of it, and that's why I'm putting it at B tier, just because it offered a way for these LHR cards to come in and still make profits on top of Ethereum mining. Next we have Zcash. This is kind of like the Bitcoin Cash, so I'm just going to put it in the middle of the B tier. Not particular order really on the B tier. They're all kind of great coins, just kind of hasn't picked up around to the point where I think that they should be in A or S tier. Zcash has been around for a while, so it kind of has that kind of grandfathered in kind of look to it, where it's been there for a while, so a lot of people will be mining it. But I don't really have any general opinion on it, so I'm just sticking it in the B tier, because I've not really kind of used it or mined it at all. So next we have Ethereum Classic. I've got to put that in A tier, just because it's the same as Ethereum. The use cases are there. You can build pretty much anything you built on Ethereum can be built on Ethereum Classic. And it offers, GPU plus ASIC mining. The duality of that is great. I don't know what the actual profits are. If we look here, we're getting around 75 cents. When we compare that to Ethereum, we've got 1, so it's basically making half the actual Ethereum profits. But in the future, we could see that Ethereum, when it moves to proof of stake, it could go down the hill, and people might start adopting this Ethereum Classic coin again. Overall, I'm just putting it in A tier because it's got the same uses as Ethereum, because it's basically the same coin as Ethereum. Next up we have Monero Coin. I'm going to put this in A tier as well, just because it's such a big coin in the space. The transactions on it are great, the fees are low, and it's CPU mineable plus GPU mineable. So I believe it's more catered to CPU mining. They get more profitability or efficiency out of it if you CPU mine with the coin, but GPU mining is great as well. So it gives an alternative when this proof of stake comes in for the first 6 months where we don't know which coin to mine. Monero might be up there with one of the ones to mine with your CPU instead of your GPU. Litecoin, I'm going to put this at the top of the B tier. Basically a clone of Bitcoin, obviously it's forked from it. It's kind of like the Bitcoin Cash kind of thing, but it's up there. It has more use cases than the Bitcoin Cash, and it's been around for longer, I believe. Just a lot of people using the network, a lot of miners on the network. Only ASIC can mine on this network, so no GPUs, so it kind of limits it. Right now it's one of those coins that I haven't really mined, so I wouldn't really know. That's why I'm sticking it at the top of B tier, just because it's kind of forked from Bitcoin, so it kind of has all those assets that Bitcoin have, just changed a little. Now Dogecoin, I'm going to put this at A tier, but at the bottom of A tier, because right now it is profitable. These ASIC miners for Dogecoin are pretty cheap. You can buy them pretty cheap. You have mini Doge miners. Not really many use cases for Doge, to be honest. It's just kind of like this meme coin that you can kind of have low transaction fees on. I guess that's a use case if you have low transaction fees on it. But for now, I haven't really mined it. I don't really use it. But a lot of people seem to use it or have just holding bags of it because they think it's going to go up. As we see, it's like the 10th largest coin on the market by market cap. So I have to stick it at A tier just because of that. Now next up, obviously we have Ethereum, and I've got to put that at the top of A tier. I'm not putting it in S tier just because Ethereum is moving to proof of stake. And that's one of the main things. It's been so good to us over the last, however many years it's been mineable. Obviously with the hack, the DIO hack, the two Ethereums split off. But it's been great for the last 5 or 6 years whilst we've been GPU mining it. Through the highs and through the lows, it's produced profits, and it's been that coin there. We're obviously going to stick to Ethereum because of its profitability. It's been such a strong coin from the start to the finish, but when it moves to proof of stake, that is basically just going to mess up this whole tier list because everything will be all over the place in profitability. I'll just go over to what to mine just so you can see. Right now Ethereum's making $1.38 profitability, and obviously we have the last coin and the best coin, which is Bitcoin. I'm going to stick that right there just because we all know it was going to be there at the top anyway. But obviously the use cases are there. They have the ASIC miners, top mine coin basically for the last 10 years, I guess. I think Ethereum actually overtook it for a while in terms of revenue or profits, but solely it's been better than basically anything else out there. In terms of profitability, how many ASIC miners actually mine Bitcoin? You can get them for cheap right now. They're about 10,000. They used to be at 40,000. The prices obviously dip into around 20,000 per coin, but it doesn't really matter to me. You know, it's always going to be there. It's always going to be mineable for the next, whatever, 150 years. There's nothing out there that really kind of compares to it. Obviously, because it's the first one that came along, it's kind of got that grandfathered in mechanism. We're not really going to see Bitcoin used as a coin. We're going to see it used as a store of value. You know, a hedge against inflation, kind of like gold. So obviously I've got to put it up there as one of the best coins to mine. Well, the best actually. But this trifecta of the S tier, you know, Bitcoin, Kadena and Flux are the ones that I'm betting on personally. These are going to be the coins of the future. Obviously Bitcoin is the coin of the future right now. That's what everyone's saying. But that's my tier list overall. We have Bitcoin, Kadena, Flux, Ethereum, Sero, Ravencoin, Ethereum Classic, Monero, Doge, Litecoin, Zilliqa, Chia, Ergo, Eternity, Raptorium, Zcash, Conflux, Beam, Bitcoin Cash, Firo, Ethos, Sia, Aion, Zano, Bitcoin Gold, and Vertcoin. That's the list, all out. If you have any opinions, please leave them in the comments below. Like the video and subscribe for more content like this, and I'll see you in the next video.